What is student apathy?
What causes student apathy?
Can we fix it?
What do you believe causes student apathy?
Well, I think student apathy has a lot of different causes. One of the main ones has to do, quite frankly, with teachers. I mean, we've all been there, right? Where a class is so boring, you wish that you would be somewhere else. So sometimes the material itself, the classes that you go through, are just not that exciting because it doesn't relate to you. The teacher has doesn't use techniques that are interesting. They just lecture, or they just use one style of teaching. Another thing that causes apathy is, frankly, at least in juniors and seniors, older students, is teachers who don't understand that whatever you tell a student to do, they're going to rebel against that. So I think sometimes just simply a teacher being too authoritative can be detrimental to the student's experience of the class. And then lastly, the thing that a lot of teachers, I think, don't realize is that a student is not just a student in your class. They have outside stress from their family, their job, boyfriend, girlfriend, all that drama that goes on in high school. I think that teachers need to be aware of that, and that maybe if a student is having a bad day in your class, it's not because they hate your subject. They just might hate their life that day. So I think that if a teacher goes and talks to them individually and kind of gets those answers from them, that they can be more understanding and more compassionate about their apathy in the class.
What subjects and/or activities do you think result in apathy?
I think more than subjects, it's more activities, and I do think a lot of busy work affects apathy. I think when students are handed worksheets or bookwork, that encourages apathy rather than active involvement and them discovering things on their own.
Do you feel you are responsible for their attitudes toward the subjects that you teach?
Somewhat. I think that I'm responsible for their behavior in my classroom, and I think when you walk in a classroom, you can kind of feel how that, if it's a happy classroom or if it's a strict classroom. So I think I'm responsible for their behavior, which I do think reflects their attitude in my classroom.
Quote from Ms. Burr on student apathy.
Apathy can spread through the classroom like a disease or a virus.
Do you think the home support system influences the students' attitudes in the classroom?
Yeah, I think apathy breeds apathy. So if you have a limited experience in your home life, then that leads you to fail to see the interconnectedness of events and the significance of having knowledge about those things.
A quote from Dr. Henson.
Home support, or lack of, affects students 360 degrees. This includes attitudes in the classroom.
A quote from Pat Widdowson on what causes apathy.
Just as with adults, many factors impact our journey. The causes can be physical, including mental, or environmental, or emotional. I believe that defining the cause of apathy is a complex process because some of the causes may be deeply rooted and hard to uncover.
What techniques do you use to respond to apathetic students?
I think the first thing that a teacher can do, that I've tried to do myself, is just to spice it up. Every day, there's new and different things. Every time that I find myself in a routine with the way class runs, I find that people become more apathetic. So always spicing it up. That means having activities that engage people that like lectures, people that like artistic stuff, people that like acting, and usually planning lessons that switch the activity up at no more than every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes there's something new, something different that's going on. I'm not saying that means that students have attention deficit disorder or anything like that. It just means that you're trying to be interesting to them. Another thing that I try to do with apathetic students, in particular if I had an individual that's the only student that has apathy, I would just take them aside and try to talk to them privately about what's going on. I found that that's the best way to attack it, is to use it, talk individually, not speak bitterly to the entire class about, oh, kids these days, and using these phrases that cause students to hate you, quite frankly. But to speak individually with the student and talk to them about the specific issue that they have. And hopefully, if done correctly, I've always found it to be useful and to cure apathy.